Okay. Let me introduce, I think Aki, you're going to bring him back, right? Let me introduce you to our friend from Norway, Mr. Gerald Markerink. Hey, Gerald. Good to see you again after a while. Huh? Now, Gerald is a unique person. He's a farmer. Well, he grew up as a farmer. He studied agronomics. He has more than 10 years experience in the food business for the sterilization of spices and herbs. Gerald is the founder of WOW, ASA, Norway. He joined WOW 15 years ago, a company for decarbonization of the atmosphere by pyrolysis technology. At that time, emerging technology. Gerald is with his colleague, an expert for breeding and growing the fast-growing Kajovuapong tree. We call it the K tree in labs and greenhouses. The fast-growing tree can be harvested after a few years and sold to be exported for timber, and the waste of the wood goes to biocarbon, bio-oil molecule production from carbon. Right. The tree was invented by none other than President Nine. So without much further ado, let me have Gerald. Are you there? Are you ready? Take it away then.
Yeah, okay. Hey, yeah, unmuting works. Yeah, good morning, everyone. And now I'm in Sweden. I just finished a tour of 2 weeks all over Europe, from Czech Republic to Germany, from Germany to Denmark, from Denmark to Sweden, and then Norway. And the last week I had my time in Norway. It's all about doing the good thing for our climate, fighting climate change, and to do pyrolysis. I will add now my screen. One moment. Yeah, you can see me?
Yes, yes. I see a screen. I see a screen.
Excellent. Okay, so my company is called WOW. It's rather a big company, stock listed at the Stock Exchange of Oslo. We are working worldwide. I have been traveling all over the world, visiting many projects, many people, and I'm happy to meet each other here in this international forum. So what we are doing now, and it's different since, let's say, 2 or 3 years ago, we are now rolling out all over the world standard factories for turning wood into biocarbon and oil. This was together with Mr. Nine. We had many meetings at the COP conferences. This one was in Bonn that we had to give a presentation. My philosophy is let nature do its work. We can think of all kinds of problems and all kinds of solutions, but nature has all the solutions ready. And I can tell you CO2 is a solution. CO2 is not a problem. So what we do is plants need CO2. Without CO2, plants cannot grow. Plants are the solution for our creation, our world. So with the tree of Mr. Nine, if we take about 1,000 ton per hectare, which is fresh yield per hectare, so we have about 50% water and 50% solids, then we have the production of about 500 ton per hectare wood. That divided over 4 years, so it's 125 ton per year dry matter, what 1 hectare can produce. If you turn this into the carbon, then it means that you roughly per ton of carbon can absorb something like 3.6 ton of CO2. If we just calculate over the hectare, then every hectare per year of Mr. Nine tree can absorb about 671 ton per year per hectare. This is crazy amazing. Okay, how do we do that? First, what we do is the tree of Mr. 9. It's a hybrid. So a hybrid, you cannot, it's end of life. You cannot grow it further, multiply it further. So you have, in the lab, you have to multiply your hybrids. This we do in the laboratories. And then we grow the plant in special glasses. They are rooting now. And here you see the greenhouse where it is done is the highest standard of the world. Most of the technologies come from Holland. And as you know, Holland has about 90% of the world market in greenhouses. Wherever in the world you see a greenhouse, 90% chance it's from Holland. And if you have these greenhouses, you create a huge amount of jobs, which is very important, as we all know, for Africa. Then the plants grow up in certain trays, especially treated. And here you see the trays uncovered. They are growing and growing and growing. And here they are, after 4 or 5 years, they will have a diameter of 40 to 50 centimeters. Look, these are all rooted plants, very nice to see. And this is important, that the roots come through the plug, so that they can, when you plant them in the farmer soil, that immediately the roots can grow further, and that they are not growing in circles. They must go deep rooted in the soil, and a good root can go by 5 meters deep in the soil, because a root is always looking for water, searching for water. Look how beautiful they are. And they can go to the farmer's land now, and then we can plant them. So this is the harvest. After 4 years, 5 years, you see it 45 centimeters diameter. This was a picture taken in the Wageningen University in Holland. That university is the world leader in know-how about agriculture and forestry. So what's happening now in reality, it's all about photosynthesis where we talk about. So the only thing what you need in photosynthesis is you need sunlight and you need oxygen. So at the biomass, you have to do something with it. It grows and grows and grows, and you have to do something with it. The solution is you harvest and you create about 50% timber. So there you put in your carbon of the CO2, and the other 50% that is the waste wood, which you can use for pyrolysis. And then you turn the by pyrolysis, you turn the wood into fixed carbon. We call it fixed carbon. So what you do in pyrolysis is nothing else than only you turn molecules into other molecules. This is the only thing what you do. You do not do great miracles. Original molecules, which is wood, to future molecules, which is a combination of carbon and oil and many things. So you see it here on the list. You create timber, you create biochar, you create biocoal, you create biocarbon. And this biocarbon is in fact the foundation for many possibilities of high-graded molecules which are needed by the world. For instance, activated carbon, we need it. Graphene, we need it. Carbon fiber for chips, we need it. Graphite, many things. And of course also the oil, because the oil is needed for the production of all kinds of plastics and all kinds of things. But this oil is a bio oil, and we prefer that more as to have the fossil oil, of course. This is the carbon. You see, it's very beautiful granulates. And here you see my hand is still white. This means that this is pure carbon. This is a carbon of around 95% purity. This is unique in the world. There are not so many technologies which can produce such a high purity. And there is also minimum oil around it. Mostly the people have a lot of oil around the carbon. We have not a film of oil around it. It's really pure carbon. Now you can also use it for improvement of the soil, for instance, the desert, to make the desert green again. In the past, they did it just with water and fertilizer, but nowadays it should be done also with the biochar. And the beauty of the biochar, it contains a lot of pores, and that means you can express it in square meter of surface area per gram of biochar. With the filtration is exactly the same with the activated carbon. With activated carbon, we can create roughly 1,000 square meters on 1 gram of carbon. This is amazing, amazing. Another application is for the metal industry, because in the metal industry, they need carbon. They cannot work without carbon. And the reason is metal is always an ore. No matter if it is iron or if it is gold or if it is whatever, you need to get rid of that oxygen molecule on the metal. And that's done by, and we call it a reduction agent. And the reduction agent in this case is the carbon, the C. And here is an instrument machine for the pyrolysis. This is an example of another client who turns the wood into carbon. On this graph, you see that the higher you go in temperature, the more gas you produce. So the lower you go in temperature, the more solids you produce. That's the black graph. And the reason for it is that the higher the temperature is, the more carbon molecules get evaporated. So somehow you have to look for an optimum. What is my goal? What am I looking for? Am I looking for the highest quality of carbon? You have to go higher temperature. If you are looking for an oil, you have to go more in the medium temperature, 500, 600 degrees centigrade. But we can also go to 1,000 degrees treatment, and then we create a lot of hydrogen and methane. Well, this is some examples about biochar and how it can be sold via the shops commercially. Here is an example of wood to electricity. All over the world, biogreen plants are organized. So it's absolutely a future. And thanks to Mr. Nine, we got such a great tree. We got such a great instrument to restore nature and let nature do its work. Here you see we can, per hectare, absorb roughly 600 tons of CO2. And what people don't talk about, but this is not clever not to talk about, is that if you have trees and plants, you create also oxygen. So 420 tons per hectare per year of oxygen. Amazing. Thank you very much. Good luck, everyone, with restoring nature. Bye.